Anyone who orchestrated an invasion of America cannot lead America. Kamala Harris, her reign of terror ends the day I take office. She's finished. She's finished.
That was an exceptionally angry Donald Trump at what was an exceptionally weird rally tonight for a couple of reasons. The first of which being it was in the Coachella Valley in California, a strange place for Donald Trump to be holding a rally less than 30 days out from this election, but clearly his focus isn't on winning at this point. I guess maybe just grifting, and that's all he cares about. But it was also a pretty strange rally because, well, I guess we should expect it at this point, but there were multiple instances of Donald Trump glitching out, being unable to speak, and shocking his crowd. But that wasn't the only thing that left his crowd shocked. In the middle of this rally, we saw a heckler have to be removed, and it was Donald Trump's response that was really the most shocking part of it all, because what he said will absolutely stun you. He absolutely lost it after this heckler was removed, but we are going to check all of that out in just a second. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, to hit that subscribe button and join the community that we are building on this channel. It really goes a long way and means the world to me. Now let's get into some of this really angry and unhinged rally from Donald Trump.
And we will call it Operation Aurora. That's what we're going to, in honor of the people that have suffered in Aurora at the hands of this horrible gang, Operation Aurora. And if they come back into our country after, we're going to throw them out so far you wouldn't believe it. But if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. 10 years. And if that doesn't work, it'll be 20 years. And if that doesn't work, I guess it's going to be the death penalty, right? The death penalty.
I talked about just how especially angry and unhinged Donald Trump was in this rally. And I think this is the perfect shining, or maybe not shining, the darkest example of that, because he's talking about a death penalty for migrants. If people come in this country, Donald Trump says we're going to give them 10 years, then 20 years, and is considering the death penalty. And violence is something he continued to bring up in this angry rally, as we'll continue to see. But let's just let this sink in. How disturbed has this person gotten? We see the rhetoric that Donald Trump is pushing about migrants continue to get angrier and more unhinged, and it is the reason why so many people are in danger in communities like Aurora, Colorado, or Springfield, Ohio, where Donald Trump is pushing these lies and putting people in danger. And of course, we cannot allow him to do that from behind the seal of the presidency, from inside the Oval Office. We absolutely can't. We can't allow these attacks and these lies to continue, especially ridiculous ones like this right here.
How do you like the vice president she picked? How about that guy? How about that guy? I don't know. What the hell is wrong with our country? Right? Look, you know, we used to have the greatest, Abraham Lincoln, George. Now look at this stuff. Can you believe what we're doing? She's so bad.
So Trump tries to attack Tim Walz, tries to call him weird, or says that he's a bad VP pick. That fails. And so he pivots into just listing the names of presidents. This is what a Donald Trump rally has come to at this point. The messaging is so bad that he just starts listing stuff, whether it's Hannibal Lecter or his grievances with windmills, or he's talking a lot about rare earth metals lately. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He just loves to list stuff. But it's a perfect example of what Donald Trump's mindset is like. Just try to deflect and change topics and distract, especially when we see him mess up his words, which happened quite a few times during the speech. And the most hilarious example can be seen right here.
I will very quickly deflate. We are going to take inflation and we are going to deflate it. We are going to deflate inflation. We are going to defeat inflation. We're going to...
What is he saying? We have to deflate inflation, and then we have to deflute it, and then we have to defeat inflation. It's not the problem of tripping up your words, even though we see that a lot more from Donald Trump, and the mainstream media seems to not want to ask about his cognitive state. That's fine, though. They cannot do their job. We will do it for them. But this is Donald Trump in a nutshell, where we see him trip over his words and then be unable to take any sort of accountability for that. It's the Tim Apple example, refusing to admit when he's made a mistake because that is his mind. All he can do is attack and lash out and be angry and be aggrieved. Is what we see more and more in these speeches. And I mentioned earlier, when someone was removed ostensibly for heckling because the MAGA crowd was booing them, it seemed like they were heckling Donald Trump. He had to stop his speech. He turned around, and as they were being escorted out by security, he said something that will really stun you. So angry, so upset. Let's take a look.
Back home to mommy. She goes back home to mommy. Was that you, darling? And then she gets the hell knocked out of her. Her mother's a big fan of ours. You know that, right? Her father, her mother.
Not the first time we have heard the knock the hell out of them line from Donald Trump, but saying that to someone who's being escorted out of your rally and booed by the crowd, you have to think, that person could potentially be in danger for an angry MAGA crowd. And we have seen what angry MAGA crowds have done before. And his answer is saying, knock the hell out of him, go home to mommy. What is wrong with this individual? He cannot take accountability, like we said, and he does not care about the results of his words. He can't take accountability because he doesn't care how his actions impact other people. It's why he's been lying about FEMA aid and relief in affected communities, because he doesn't care if people can't get the resources they need because of his lies. He just wants to attack without accountability, which is exactly what he did right here.
Do you remember when a man, we're talking about this guy, Chris Christie, he went off the reservation, right? We have some people, and some guy shouts out to me, he's a fat pig, sir. Nobody heard it but me, but it was still, he said it. Sir, you should not call Chris Christie a fat pig, please. He is not a fat pig. You shouldn't. You're very rude, sir. We're going to have to throw you out if you do it again. He is not a fat pig. And you know what? The press is saying, that son of a gun.
What have these speeches come to? He's saying that, I didn't say Chris Christie is this thing. I didn't say Chris Christie is a pig. But someone said that, and I'm repeating it, but you can't get mad at me for it. He's just such a child in the way he acts and behaves. And it's crazy that these moments are not reported by the mainstream media, that they just try to sane wash, and they're probably going to take out his flute inflation comment, and they're probably going to cut that up to make it look like this was some economic speech by Donald Trump, when in reality it was the ramblings of a child. And that's how we have to talk about it, because that's the truth. It's just the same old tired lies like this one right here.
These people coming in are taking the jobs of African Americans that have had it a long time. Their unemployment rate is through the roof. Wait till you hear the numbers. And also Hispanic American at a little bit less clip. They're replacing people that have been in these jobs for a long time, doing a good job, not bothering anybody.
Are we really still doing the black jobs bit? Are we still doing this? But what's crazy is he's decided always to add a little spice to the same old, same old. So he's always doing the black jobs comment, but now he has a new bit to add to it, that the people whose black jobs are being taken, they weren't bothering anyone. Is the implication there that most of the time people are? What does that even mean? They weren't even bothering anyone. What is he saying by that? I don't know. Neither does he. And he doesn't know what he's saying right here either.
California and all across our nation, I make this pledge to you. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. Liberation Day.
Because on November 5th, I think we'll be liberating ourselves from you, Donald. I think you will be the thing that will be voting to get rid of dustbin of history, sweep you out, turn the page. We're a little fed up with the whole shtick. We've heard the same lies before. We've heard the same complaints before. Much like the people at your rallies, we'd like to leave early and fall asleep because we're tired of it. But of course, that's not what Donald Trump wants. He wants to continue to push his angry rhetoric and be that dictator the dictators he praised in this clip right here.
President Xi and myself, somebody said, what kind of a man is he? He's a fierce person. He is. He's a very smart guy. I hate to say brilliant because every time I call him brilliant, the press says, he said the president, well, he is a brilliant guy. Got 1.4 billion people. He rules it with an iron fist.
I have to say it again. How is this not reported? His constant praise of dictators. I want to rule with an iron fist. And this is coming from the guy who says that he's going to be tough on China. But no, he's praising their dictator. This is Donald Trump. He's always looking up to strongmen because of how insecure he is. That is what the projection is all about in these rallies, and that's what the attacks on our democracy are about too. He's a child who is so mad that he lost that he just can't control himself. This is a deranged individual who should be nowhere near the White House, and we have to make sure that it doesn't happen. And we're going to be doing so on November 5th, and we're going to be talking about it every single day on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video, and if you're stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments or just say hi. I'd love to thank you for your support. And until next time, I'll see you soon.